Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the MOV experience here on the Live the Dream Media Network. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to all that are sticking around who are listening to Wake Up with Christopher DeSimone. And, you know, I had the pleasure of running that show this morning, and that was a good one.
Yeah,
it was funny. Spuds and all kinds of just you think of the advertising and stuff that was going on for that company. And if you want to learn more, go watch the show. But it was great to hear like a conversation about advertising and impact and connecting with people here, because I think over the last couple of years we could agree that a lot of big brands missed it.
And then continued to miss it. Doubled down on doubled down. Hey, in the tone of Adrian Kronauer, good morning, Marana and Oro Valley.
There you go.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know,
start your day right, baby.
You know, an acquaintance of mine produced and wrote that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. His friends, his family.
Did you grow up in the same area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to the same high school. He was older. His parents and my parents were good buddies. And his name is just completely escaping. I can see his face right now, and his name is completely. He produced a lot of TV shows back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Like game shows and stuff. His name is just, isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I had it a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that is actually a true story about a friend of his, Good Morning Vietnam. A good movie if you haven't seen it, with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Sad, and yet, because it had Robin Williams in it, was kind of a funny movie. I don't know why I'm not doing a movie review. That's Mark Van Buren's
That's
Bailey
the movie
Wick.
guy.
Yeah, the
Mark
movie
Van
dude.
Buren, the movie guy. Yeah.
Hey, you know, you speaking of we're talking Oro Valley Marana experience this morning. Mr. DeSimone and Miss Lisa seemed like they had a perfect Saturday for July 5th. If I'd have thought about that, I'd have joined them on that track.
Yeah.
Cruised around.
How fun.
Marana and
Marana.
ended up out at the stockyards, having a little breakfast with the. Yeah.
That's a great morning, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that next Saturday.
You should. You guys, you and Tammy should go cruise it.
Yeah.
Go look at all the old farm fields.
We've been on chill mode for 17 days now. It's good to be back in.
Yeah. I love seeing you guys chill. You guys for people that don't know the Peak family, these folks are balls to the wall all the time. You better bring your tennis shoes if you want to be in this world, man. I can't even on the weekend. I was telling you, I was trying to keep up with the things.
Well, I was sitting on in my electric chair. So
I was doing some scheming this weekend, though, Clint. Yeah. I got some stuff to. Clint and I are going to have a summit. We call it a summit. We get together and we talk about plans and different things.
And you know what the coincidence of that is, David?
Yeah,
that's the day Live the Dream Media started.
Yes. And then then a
year later, and it's also my parents' wedding. July the 11th is also my parents' wedding anniversary. That was just when I put it on the schedule. It was just putting it on the schedule, and then I started thinking, I'm like, boy, there's a lot of poetry in what we're doing right there.
Yeah,
with the 11th.
Signifies a lot.
Yeah.
And it's also a reminder of you got to talk about what's next for the business and what's next.
We talk all the time, but we don't set and really do what we're going to do on Friday.
Yeah. Well, I think it gives me the opportunity, because I'm in operations all day doing all that stuff. It gives me the opportunity to come up there on the lift with you and see and look at
it looks good.
Big picture and
looks really
hey,
good.
What do we do? Yeah. But, his Chris DeSimone's weekend, awesome. I want to share my experiences this weekend because I spent some time in Oro Valley. Yeah. And usually we go to the Marana fireworks, but we went to the Oro Valley fireworks this year. It was our first year with our kids going to the fireworks because, they're usually pretty terrified.
Yeah, when they're now where how'd Nathan do with it? Because
at first he was terrified.
Yeah.
I lit one off in the backyard. We were home.
Little
that dude sprinted so fast. I just wanted, and it was just one of those spinner ones. You can't get the good stuff here. It was one of the ones you get at and you
can't get the stuff that blows fingers off here. How about that?
We were like, oh man, this might not go well, but it was cool. The wife and I talked about how we noticed some of our other friends did this too. We flew under the radar. We didn't plan anything with anybody. Yeah. We just kept it.
Yeah.
Just our little inner circle. Like, hey, let's just hang out together and do things. And we were like, hey, let's go watch the fireworks. Well, let's do something else, because we've done A Mountain, we've done Marana, and never done Oro Valley. And I was looking at the map of the park, And I was like, oh, you know what's right next to that park?
Yeah.
Best church in the world.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, the Oro Valley Church of Nazarene was right there next to it. So you said, hey, you know what? Let's go see if we can just get in that parking lot and set up shop.
Was the parking lot kind of busy?
It was.
Yeah.
Oh,
People know that vantage point.
It's awesome too because the church has a really good setup, so you have information out, so people parking and seeing, you know what I mean. And so we got there. We were one of the first ones there, not to brag, and we were there at like 8:15, 8:20, and it filled up. Almost every single spot was taken in the front end of the parking lot. You want to talk about
lawn chairs and
cars? Like some people were using it as overflow for the event.
Yeah,
and then there was people like us where we parked. We parked against the wall you usually go to on the far east side or far west side. Mm-hmm. We had some chairs and everything, which we didn't end up using.
I claim that as my spot. If someone's there, I've got that old church guy. There's somebody in my spot. I'm teasing.
Yeah, so we have a SUV and the back opens popped up, and we sat there on the back. We brought a little cooler with some water and some juices and snacks, and we watched it. One thing I noticed about the Oro Valley fireworks was the intensity was higher, and it ended fast.
They shot them all off at once then.
10 minutes.
Yeah, good.
Because
I love that.
Usually at Marana, it's a little drawn out. You have one, they'll go two. And I'm not knocking
That's most places. Most places.
And it's drawn out about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes, like it started, and we were like, man, these are impressive. This is intense. And it kept the intensity.
Yeah.
And when we started, our kids were covered in their ears, but by like midway, they were relaxed, pointing out the colors and the shapes, and it was great. Yeah. It was awesome. I actually prefer the Oro Valley setup because it was intense and it was done in 10 minutes.
That's when you get old people planning a party. Come on, let's go. Let's get this thing over with. Let's go.
Hey, they got it. Yeah. We don't. Yeah, we don't need to be maybe in a different stage of life. I know there's people hanging out at the event.
I kid. I live in Oro Valley. I'm an old person. I can have a little fun with us.
Let's give him the little bing.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I digress, but thank you, Shay. I appreciate it. You know what? One of the high points of my weekend was.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Your kids at church yesterday morning for that 3 or 4 or 5 minutes when they came running at me. That was pretty cool to watch your kids grow and be involved in their lives, and that's always a rush to see them. I didn't see them on the way out. You guys were gone.
Right when we pull in, Ray, Clint and Tammy here? Clint and Tammy here? Like, yep. There's a car. We're going.
Hey, we missed one Sunday, and she was not happy with us.
She was questioning things.
Hey, one more little note about Marana and the cruise around, and someone came to me clutching their pearls yesterday, and like, Marana's just growing so big, and I'm thinking, and you just bought a new house, so
NIMBY alert.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. It was so cool, and I hadn't seen it until I was heading out of town the other day to run up to Phoenix. The growth on the east side now of the freeway on Tangerine is happening.
Yeah.
The houses are already starting. And I was thinking as recent as a year ago when Ed and I would cruise through that, I don't remember the name of that street, and he would say, Clint, there's going to be 6,000 houses here. Well, there's already a handful started on that stretch.
I have a good drone shot of that new interchange, the interchange before the interchange being built. I'm going to put that in the Slack.
And you know what? I love that what Mayor Post said about that the other day. Don't call Marana, call ADOT. This needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. The funding and approval for that, permits for that we're past due. But
all right, Shay, I put I'm sending you an image of the drone shot.
Are there pictures? Can you see houses or growth in
no,
that
but
picture?
you can see all the infrastructure being built for the area.
That is so cool, though. I mean, to see that actually happen.
Oh, look at that screen she built. Look at Shay, you're awesome.
Yeah,
look at that. You guys can't
shout out again to Shay in there. She just kills it in there.
Yeah,
all of you do.
6,000 homes.
It's 25,000 people, let's say, added to. So that puts Marana, when that's built out, at least probably 100,000 at that point because there's going to be a few others.
I saw. Oh, you were with me. We went and saw Mayor Post's presentation at the Colorado Ranch HOA.
Yep.
And something really struck me when he was talking about that, and I just was thinking, I'm really excited for it. Is he talks about how he wants Marana to be a place where there's enough economic development things going on where folks raise their families here and and their kids stay here because there's opportunity here, there's jobs here. Because right now, nowhere here down in Southern Arizona, it's really hard to find anything. Yeah, it's like almost capped. Well, and you've experienced that personally with your family. So.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, David, because we were at lunch with Mayor Post here, I don't know, a couple months ago maybe, and he asked about my kids, and I said, our daughter and son-in-law and new grandbaby are in Boise. And he goes, well, you got to fix that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I need help. I need good paying jobs for young people to stay in the region. I don't expect everybody to stay here, but I mean, the only way we're going to keep our young, talented people is by providing them good paying jobs. And Derek, our son-in-law, has an incredible job at an incredible, it's a microchip company, benefits and all of them, and they're doing everything they can to keep these young, talented people. I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago when we were there, and the jobs, we may never be able to steal them back because of the job that he has, and that's fine. They're living their lives, but we got to do a better job protecting the talent that we're raising here, and that's good paying jobs, both in Oro Valley and Marana.
Absolutely. So this right here, this picture you see is at Tangerine and I-10 on the east side. That's the Maverick. Mm-hmm. And then that is the new roadway and stuff being built to those 6,000 homes you were talking about. But this is also cool too, because there was something that happened a few years ago where a train stopped on the railroads at Marana and I-10. And then there was also, it was a big event or something was going on. Or there was an accident or something, and people couldn't get out of the San Lucas area, and they're trapped in there.
Hey.
And so this provides actually different outlets from those neighborhoods to help and get out of that congested area.
You could be on the east side and totally trapped. East side of,
if you had a long enough train,
Well, or emergency or something like that. Yeah. Literally, you could not, unless you knew it prior and you went around Twin Peaks way, but you get down to Tangerine and I-10, you can be there a long time.
Yeah.
Just with a train.
Thanks for showing that, Shay. But that's the update. That's where it's at right now. It's, a work in progress, but it was cool to see from down on the ground. And then,
hey, real quick, I just noticed, I forgot, Cubs took 2 out of 3 against Cardinals. Nice little homestand going right now. First place. Go Chicago. Matter of fact, I'm booking tickets right as soon as this show is over for a trip to Chicago.
No kidding.
With Craig and I.
Oh, man.
As soon as this show's over, I'm going to spend some money.
Oh, man, that's cool.
I think he's already got the airline flights. I'm going to hit my buddy Rick up. Maybe we can get a little hookup with some hotels. But as soon as this show's over, I'm booking some home plate seats for Wrigley Field.
Living the dream, man.
Yeah, living the dream.
That's awesome. Good for you guys.
Yeah. Hey, back to the growth again. On this little trip that Tammy and I took and Hayden a couple of weeks ago, we saw incredible growth. We did a road trip. Salt Lake City, south of Salt Lake City. The growth is and it's, when I say growth, I mean good, solid growth. Not just hard scrabble, throw stuff up. I'm talking about legit growth with good, all the major tech companies are in, have facilities now in southern part of the Salt Lake Basin there. Adobe, Microsoft, Facebook, the list goes on and on. Humongous campuses are being built in that. You were there not too long ago, and it's just incredible. Houses, the rooftops are unbelievable, and we're talking about beautiful homes built up the side of the mountains, built out. West Phoenix, the place that I first saw in 1988, was all cotton fields, way out there, the 303. We hit the 303 coming back. I hadn't been out that way in a while. That was cotton fields the last time I was out there. Now I moved to Tucson area 23 years ago. But major highways, again, houses, huge facilities, businesses, good paying jobs everywhere. Marana's a smaller version of that, but the same thing is happening here. And I've said it, when we were doing a lot of shows with Ed, now we're doing them with John. That's not by accident, the reason why people want to move here. Right? I mean, The growth is solid. We got room. That's one of the reasons why the West is growing so quickly is there's a lot of open spaces. A lot of people, like my pearl clinching friend yesterday, are not crazy about it, but she just had a new home built. I was standing there thinking the hypocrisy right now is like through the roof. You just built a new home with a beautiful
but no
view,
one else can, huh?
But we're going to stop with mine. It's comfortable that way. I get it, especially as you get older. You think about things different, but come on, man.
Yeah,
let's just build.
You think about your kids.
Build, baby, build.
Think about your kids. I was talking to the wife this weekend, and I'm like, you know what? I think about our kids, and if things don't change, if things don't start happening like we're talking about, we're out.
What has to be at some point?
Like what do you want your kids to do here?
Well, when Chris and we were up in Phoenix last week, we were talking about this, and I made the statement. I think Chris was busy doing something else, but I made the statement to Craig that at some point, Live the Dream Media will have a facility in Maricopa County
Sooner than you think, Clint.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
that's what we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah, we are 100%. He goes, "Are you going to move here?" And I said, "Well, I don't know that I'll move here because I really enjoy where I'm at."
Yeah, and this will be
Tammy
here,
absolutely 100%. And Tammy's turning our home into literally a resort.
Yeah.
On purpose, I think, to be an incentive to at least be a vacation point for our kids. But it's a metropolitan that's growing, and you can't ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love where we're at.
It's
a great place to raise kids. It's a great place to retire, but it's not necessarily a great place to do business.
Yeah.
And that's a missing ingredient, I think. And that's the reason why you and I have spent so much time with MOVE, the Marana Oro Valley Experience, is until we fix that part of our, what's the word I'm looking for, our DNA, part of our whatever, we're always going to lose our kids to other places that are more attractive when it comes to jobs. Right. And that's important.
Yeah.
Because if you're growing and you're not including the younger people in that growth.
That's why I get frustrated with the folks that are a little older that, talk about they just got their house. My stuff's good, but it's like you're so self-centered, you can't think about anything else going on with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how hard is it to put a couple other people into the playing field?
Can I repeat my personal experience? 17 years in my house. The road used to end behind our house. Now that road is open. They've built it opened up probably another 4,000 or 5,000 houses not built behind me. That's probably in the hundreds. But the road is now open for 5,000 houses. I have to leave my side street, Faldo, doing about 45 at rush hour because people are flying. And it's on a curve, I might add, for cosmetic purposes. They built a curve there. Well, I can't see around either side. They built houses in my backyard. They built a new school that clogs up traffic. It's a great school. There's a roundabout. All those things have happened in my tenure at the house that I'm at right now. And yet I still love it there. I'm not necessarily doing cartwheels because those things have happened, but that's part of growth. And each time it happened, I was promised it wouldn't affect me at all. Well, that's just unrealistic. I mean, to build that many houses, have that many people, the school and all that. But having said that, I learned to adjust to it. Mm-hmm. And it really wasn't that difficult. And that's what I'm asking other people to do in the community as we grow, is adjust to it. It's growth. I mean, if you moved out here 100 years ago, you were the only person there. Now you've got neighbors. Learn to adjust to that. And that's the thing that drives me. I think the nuttiest thing for me is that you build a house and you don't want anybody else to enjoy what you're enjoying. It's so selfish. Yeah. Am I wrong? I mean, so that's my experience over the last 16 and a half years. Those major changes. I mean, it was awesome when we first moved in there, David. Mm-hmm. The road ends. There's no through traffic. You know why? There's nowhere to go. Now I can hear there's this one dude somewhere. I'm assuming it's a dude. Man, he's loud and he's fast. And I hear him about every day, early. He must be late for work every day. And coming in late, Yeah. But you learn to adjust to those things. And if you're going to have growth and experience a positive growth that I hope we're experiencing, you're going to have to adjust to a few things.
Absolutely.
So all my older friends, and again, David, I can get away with this. I'm 67 years old. I'm technically a senior, almost elderly, according to something I read the other day. 70 is elderly. Come on. Stop it.
Stop.
I know a bunch of elderly 50-year-olds, by the way.
Yeah.
But growth is inevitable if you live in a desirable location, which we do. The weather right now, it's not maybe real desirable with 110 and.
Oh, I prefer this climate so much more than up north, not up north, but up in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh man, come on, it's not even close. It's not even close. But hey, we're gonna run to a quick break, and after we get back, we're gonna talk tech, job market, and economy.
Neither one of us have an opinion about it.
None of them. We're just going to go across some statistics regarding AI in the workforce and the current numbers for the market today. And then we'll start this week and we'll get it going. So we'll hit the break. Shay, take us out real quick and we'll be right back.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve, through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
It's July and we're celebrating Independence Day all month. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing wants to buy your old air conditioning unit. For the month of July, we will buy back your old AC unit for $1,776 with the purchase and installation of a new air conditioning system. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturerockspooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
So if you're just joining us, we were talking about growth and our kids and making things happen.
Marana Oro Valley.
The 4th of July experience we had. But we're going to move into...
Let me jump real quick.
Go ahead.
I want to do a shout out to our good friend of the show, Kimberly Yee, State Treasurer, State of Arizona, is running for Superintendent of Schools. And
it's huge.
Just do your research, but support Kimberly.
You know why I really like Kimberly? She came on your show and she was talking financial literacy.
Yeah.
And that's a whole dark road we can go down about how illiterate we were taught finances in high school, how it just the things they set us up to be stuck in school when I was younger.
They meaning the system.
The system set us up, man. And I hear her talking and the thing she was saying, I was like, oh man, this is really, really refreshing to hear this. It's great. But anyways,
Yeah, I just wanted to throw. I was just checking social media while we were on break, and I noticed a post from her, and she's just an incredible.
Good
lady.
luck, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Rooting
I'm
for you.
really rooting for her.
Excuse me.
I know where you're going, David.
Tech. We're talking tech. Okay,
Yeah.
so AI is the biggest conversation. Everybody's talking about it. There's people creating podcasts and shows and everything about it, and I felt that it was really important for us to talk about this stuff pretty often on this program because everything kind of intertwines. Everything's going to intertwine with AI. You were talking about it. There was one point where, what was it, 40% of the job market was involved in agriculture, or still is.
100 years ago.
100 years ago,
100
right?
years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's 5%. People get retrained.
So we're talking about some numbers we came across this weekend. Thanks to you. You were doing some research and sharing, and 14% of the current job market has been affected and or touched eliminated by AI as of last week. And some folks will go, my gosh, that's a lot, right? That's pretty quick.
That's globally,
yeah,
by the way.
Globally,
that's
right?
Globally. That's not the United States. That's across the globe.
That's a lot. But here's the deal. That number's going to go up. It might go times 3, times 4. But you also brought up a really cool statistic was the amount of jobs that were created with it and the percentage of that. So
it's 28%.
So 14%.
Which is twice of those affected.
So we're net positive of 14%.
We're net, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll go one step, and this just happened. We haven't even had a chance to discuss this. It's there. It's here. Just accept it. Embrace it. Move on. But here's something that there's something that's floating through social media right now, and I don't know if you've seen it or not. And I did it. I wouldn't dare publish it, or post it. But they're asking. The post is out now. Ask Chat GPT specifically, hey, with all the information that you've stored about me and we've been there since 22. Mm-hmm. We've been there nearly 3 years on Chat when it first came out. Thank you for turning me on to that. That's one of the coolest things I've ever been involved in. Thank you, David. Ask Chat to evaluate you or give a bio based on the information you've given it over the years. Collecting information, right? And mine came back. Everybody's posting theirs. Yeah, stop it. I just say it right now. Stop it. and Chat, and it says, and be brutally honest. Well, Chat apparently is not going to be brutally honest because everyone that's been shared, and some of them are this long, David, is just like your mother or grandmother wrote them about you. So, and I did do it. I wouldn't post it. It's pretty flattering. But I asked Claude the same question. Actually, I asked Claude first because I'm a Claude user before Chat. And it said, I don't have any information about you. This is the first time we've ever chatted. I have nothing. What do you want to tell me about yourself? And I use Claude every day for hours. I use Chat very little, and I've used it for 3 years. Chat was quick to give me a response. In other words, and it knew it wasn't like just a random response. It was kind of geared towards me, and I thought, now think about the difference of that. So the reason I bring that up is the type of AI you're using is as important as the fact you're using AI.
Yeah.
Because I've shared with you before, Claude has a conscience. ChatGPT doesn't. I won't get into it, why I know that, but
So here's something I'm going to share with you. Don't do that no more.
What's that?
Don't talk about yourself with AI.
Oh, I never talk about myself with AI.
Yeah, don't give. This is for you guys. Don't give information because here's what's going on.
Because Chat is doing. Chat knew enough about me just from my questions.
Well, it crawls everything.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, I have never. To double down on your statement, I have never said anything about myself.
Right, but this is
to Chat.
Yeah, but it's got information about you, right?
Well, apparently.
Right. So,
and that's based on my prompts. I'm asking it a lot of questions, so it took the prompts that I had given it about different things and formed an opinion about me.
Here's the danger about all that. If somebody was a bad actor, all these folks doing that on social media are setting themselves up, and I've already seen one person go down that I
have
know.
You seen those?
Yes, and I see it, and I see people share that, and I'm like, if I was a bad guy or anybody here on which they've already started, these folks can use all this information and start getting your password information. They can start working towards your bank information. They can start setting up a full-fledged, beautiful identification of you that's not real, but to do things in your name.
Yep.
And here's the sad reality is that the tech to combat this isn't anywhere near where the tech is to implement it. Right. So when you're sharing, it goes back to social media in its early days when, I was an SRO and I would tell people, hey, the kids and even older folks at that time, hey, what you share on there, you got to be real careful, especially if you're sharing like your particular interests and if you're traveling and all these different things, right? It's going to be used. Our company had an email come in, I'll show you today, that looked so good, so legitimate. And it had to do with operations here. And it looks so real, but there's a couple things to key on that show that it's not real. But I thought about a lot of people because when I was reading it in the morning, I'm like, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this may be legit.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I'm going to check certain things, which is, always check your source email. Where did it come from, right? If it's like something ridiculous at Gmail, but it's trying to be a company thing, that's a key indicator that you have a problem. But going back to that, all these people are giving information to the world.
Yeah.
Granted, people are like, oh, well, a lot of my information's out there. Right. Which it is. But now these people get to take that information and put it together and create these profiles and different things of you to...
I'm going to double down on what you said, David.
Take advantage of you.
I saw, there's 3 or 4 people that I've seen their, what they posted, what chat had to say about them. And it's specific.
Yeah.
It knows a lot, which means they're sharing a lot of information about themselves with chat.
Right.
Like personal information. Mine was generic. It talked about philosophy and stuff like that, which is the questions I'm asking it, business stuff. I would never, ever, do you, like the, on Facebook and the different social medias, all those little games? I'm not a game player. I have never played a game on social media. You know why? I don't care what my animal spirit is or what my favorite color is, or those things are just nonsense to me to begin with. But those are phishing tools, fair enough. In many cases, they're getting a lot of information, date of birth, where you live.
So
stop. Hey, let me go back and what I just shared. Claude came back and said, "I don't know anything about you."
I should say, nor do I want to.
And well, Claude and I had a nice conversation the other day about something financial, and not me. I wanted it to do a math problem for me, and it was giving me a bad answer, and I pushed it, and it kept saying, "I'm sorry, give me the answer, and I'll learn from it." But I would highly recommend, if you're not using it, use Claude. I have chat. It's only because I need and there's others you and I are talking about. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, having used both of them for nearly 3 years, Claude is, not only is it better, but I'm telling you, it has for the lack of a better way to describe it, it's got a conscience. And it will not deal with certain issues. And I'm not testing it in crazy things, but just little things that it says, yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. Here's something else, and chat will do what, and I use the same prop with chat.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm gonna reinforce
security
what you
is
say.
Key, guys.
Don't share. I mean, personal information with a robot online. Come on, man.
Yeah,
you got to be better than that.
The person that I'm talking about, it sounds like, and this is just from my view, it sounds like what happened is a bad actor got a hold of a lot of information and got them to join a Zoom call, pretending to be somebody. And they were able to get into stuff on that Zoom call because of like almost keying off relationship stuff.
Yeah.
So think about that, man. That's like that's like a next level. Now, people have always remotely gotten into computers and different things, pretending to be banks and different things. But you're talking about Zoom and a lot of stuff that a lot of the younger generation has grown up using and stuff. So now the scams are they're exploding from just an older group of folks, an older demographic, to a younger demographic.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of. There's a lot more money here. They're still going to focus here, but you can still do some damage here if you're doing with the right one.
I believe, honestly?
Yeah.
If you went on and asked people for their social security number, there's a pretty sizable percentage that would just give it to you if you came across as legit and I need this. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why. I used to work for this little company called Radio Shack back in the day, the Tandy Corporation. And during the 80s, every purchase was done by hand, by the way, and we filled out a form as clerks, as salespeople, and we asked every purchase, whether it was a 99-cent battery or a $8,000 computer, for their name, address, and phone number. And you know how many people gave us that? Almost everyone.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I know, the Tandy Corporation was only sending out flyers every month. That resulted, I remember this number, $26 and some change in sales for every flyer that went out. Well, how can I print more flyers? So I don't think there was anything nefarious going on. But the fact that people quickly, I won't give you I won't give anybody really my email address or address ever online. I'm going to today because I'm going to buy some tickets. But I'm not giving you my address, any more access to matter of fact, I'm going to have you and Cammie walk me through it because I want to be so careful that I don't, you know what I'm saying? And these are secure, which is going to be another big part of AI. Security is going to be huge based on all the fact that we've got so many negative players in the game. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's a big number. I'm not saying everybody's a bad operator, but it's a pretty sizable number, especially when you're dealing globally.
Yeah.
And you see, we've had Brian Watson in here. Guys, the electronic world changed the whole scammer operation because now it can be someone sitting on the other side of the globe with access to your bank account that can just drain you in a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm for it. I'm all in on AI. I think it's great. It's going to change the world in a lot of ways. But on the same token, there's a lot of negative, bad characters that come with this. And it's kind of like in any other form of life. You just got to be really, really cautious, and you got to protect yourself, and you got to protect sensitive information. And if you're not sure, stop where you're at in that process and contact somebody and say, "Hey, does this sound right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But please, people, for the love of all, don't be posting your stuff online. What chat said about you. Come on, it's a bad look. Forget the bad players. It's just a bad look.
Yeah, it is. It is. Talking about tech still, there's always the conversation about the efficiency factor of it. Like, did you become more efficient? Are you taking care of more business? Are you doing more with it? And I would say most cases, yes. Right, you're able to do things faster. We've seen a lot of our content distribution really go up like 500% because we're using some tools, right? Well, there's one thing that I was reading about recently, and it was the amount of people that are checking their work emails while on vacation or off. The percentage of people. Do you have any guess what that is? And this is per the Hive.
I'd say it's pretty high.
Guess.
I don't know, 2/3.
66% of people.
Perfect.
Are checking their stuff on their off days and on vacation.
Yeah. If you're checking, matter of fact, you should be checking yours. I should be checking mine. Some.
I think
but
I think you and I are different in a different thing, right?
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, there's
employees, people that are just punching the clock, stop it.
Yeah, this is employees.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Matter of fact, I would go so far as say, owners, founders, etc., are probably less than or no more than.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say those roles you're exempt in a way because you have to, and you get paid, you get taken care of in a different way.
Yeah.
You own things.
Well, David, you and I don't have the luxury, and I don't mean in not doing it, but we get notified on our phones, and probably everybody else does too. We get notified all day long. But I'm going to tell you, when I'm busy or doing family time, I know you do too. I know you do. I ignore them. I'll get them later. I can kind of read in a memo, oh, I need to open that. That's something that I need to take care of, like something yesterday with timing and stuff. Well, we need to address that right now, but the rest of the time, no. Matter of fact, walk away from it would be my suggestion.
I hide mine sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
Because
if I got it close to me, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But yeah, just walk away from it. You don't want to be a slave to your phone or your computer or your job. You just don't want to be. There was a post Kevin O'Leary posted about signal versus noise, and he said that Steve Jobs was about 80-20.
I saw something that says everybody knows who hurt Kevin.
Yeah.
It was Steve Jobs.
Yeah, well, that's true. But he said,
did you see what he said? How he would talk to him?
Yeah.
If you haven't, go check out the Diary of a CEO with Kevin O'Leary, the podcast. But yeah, go. Sorry.
But what he said, so 80-20, and I posted, that sounds about right. 80-20 sounds about right for me as a person. I'm paying attention to signal about 20%, and then I'm dealing with 80, and then I'm dealing with life. I don't want to ignore chats with friends. I don't want to ignore time with family. But he said Elon is 100% signal. And you can see that. You can see that in his person. Well, must not be 100%. He's got 14 kids or something like that. So it maybe 95 because I'm just saying. But that's 80-20 sounds about right to me. You're busy, you're thinking about work, but you don't want to be nothing but signal. You want to spend time with your family. And you'd want to completely be in. That's when you put your phone down. When I'm having dinner, if you notice, with especially family, I turn my phone over. I have it. I don't keep it in my pocket because I don't want it vibrating. But I'll turn it over. When I've directed at OVCN for 4 years, matter of fact, a few times people were trying to get a hold of me that needed to. I didn't know it because my phone was turned down and it was turned over. I need to spend the next hour focused on the task at hand.
Right.
Now, again, I know the average person doesn't feel this way or respond, and nor should they. That's the life you and I have chosen, and it's the way we're going to live based on our own needs and ambitions. But I don't expect everybody to do that.
Yeah.
Shay, I don't expect you to do that. If you choose to do that, I'm cool with it.
So
if you don't choose to do that, I'm cool with that too.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Clint. I'm going to go back to the conversation about AI, and you and I have had this is what's creepy too, right? You and I were having a conversation about best software to use for taking, notes during meetings.
Yeah.
And transcript and all that stuff. And there's a lot of different softwares out there, right? They all died this week.
Yeah. Just crapped the bed and
they didn't die. They got killed.
Yeah.
By you know what? Chat.
Yeah.
Did you see that? What I sent you?
Yeah.
So Chat essentially just
took over the whole thing.
Took over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Integrated it in. So I was reading this article and it was like all these and it listed a bunch of these software as a service. They're like these guys they're gone.
So which one are we getting?
Overnight.
Which one are we getting? Are we going to, we can talk about that summit, but.
Well, I was saying,
one of the things I think is huge.
There wasn't a fully integrated process like there is with Chat now, right? They brought so Chat. What we're learning with these AI models is, especially Chat and Claude, is they're adding different services into the AI. So each day we go to sleep, we potentially wake up with the possibility of a software as a service that we knew disappearing because Chat or Claude or whatever model you're using is now essentially created this same service, but it's all in-house in this one thing. Everything's there for you. It's like the universal remote to everything instead of having to go and find websites. And I've been telling a lot of folks about
Great
this
call.
too.
Universal remote.
Yeah.
It does it all.
Yeah. And
one-stop shopping right here.
right. So that gets us into the conversation of scariness for the markets, because now your software creators, it almost creates this situation, and I hate you. You're gonna hate me for saying it.
Well, no,
it creates a monopoly.
Yeah,
because now
100%.
you have an overlord of everything.
100%.
And who's to say? Here's the big problem too. This is me predicting things. These AI models, how much intellectual stuff are they getting a hold of that we don't know, and to create these softwares inside of their models?
Yeah.
Because now you have, all these software, everything that is cool and awesome and new is built off of some old ideas, right?
Yeah,
and then they're
100%.
taken and they're made into something else. It's like this. It's like, oh, you guys podcast. We didn't create podcasts. We didn't create broadcasts. We didn't create any of this, but there's ways to do things better, right?
Yeah.
And these models are taking information to build these new pieces of or new services in this AI software. And so you start looking at it and you go, talk about signals. Where is it coming from?
Mm-hmm.
How are they getting that, and how are they doing it at a high level? And it's like, what resources are they taking from and utilizing from these companies that were already existing? Like you almost, when you publish a software as a service now, you're almost giving the keys to your own demise.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you have it complete, like you keep it inaccessible.
You know what, David? And I'm thinking on the fly here with what you just said.
So that's what we're seeing,
based
right?
on this conversation
to
that
see
we're
a
having,
whole software as a service category go away.
And this is Summit questioning, but think about this. Do we want chat taking our notes when it's keeping notes on everything we're doing? I'll just leave that. We'll pick that up on Friday.
That's a good question. Yeah. No, we got to get out of here. But, I talk to folks about stuff. It's like, guys, you got it. People, if you're not paying attention to any of the AI stuff, and hey, if you're in your cabana wear on the beach doing your thing, hey, good for you. But I think everybody
But
needs
it's still
going
to affect you.
Yes.
Even if you're in the cabana wear and you're walking the beach, it's still going to affect you into third-party stuff, for sure.
Right.
We talk about it all the time around here. There's an ongoing bet. Well, not all the time. It just came up, but we talk about it a lot. And Mark Cuban even took it next step the other day.
Trillionaire instead of billionaire.
There's going to be the next trillionaire. Probably going to be some dude sitting in the basement that knows how to manipulate AI and software as a service and all that stuff. It's coming.
Before we go, last question. What do you think? And this will be for listeners. You can comment on all of our channels. What do you think is the next software as a service to get wiped out by the AI models?
Man, that's a great question.
So the transcript and stuff's gone.
Yeah.
What is next?
That's a good question.
And here's the deal. You said something to me before the show. We talked about, why aren't the news organizations putting stuff out about this? Why aren't they reporting it? And it's because they're reporting on their own demise as well. The reporters, the journalists, all that stuff.
Well, there's a great
editors.
That's a great. I think that's one of the. There's 3 or 4 things that would be the answer to the question you just asked, and legacy media is one of them. But media will not be eliminated. It would just be a new form. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a lot of the financial stuff. That's another one. The legal stuff. That's another one. And this is AI telling us this information, right? Because that's the kind of questions I ask it. Use all the tools and resources at your disposal and give me an answer of this question that you just asked. It's going to be legacy media. It's going to be financial services as we know it. It's going to be legal. They're going to be, I mean, if you want to worry about jobs and losing your job, if you're in one of those 3 that I just mentioned, it's going to be, there's a reckoning coming. Because there's been a lot of people paid a lot of money over the years to just replicate stuff. Well, we don't need you anymore. I'm sorry. Yes, robots on the assembly line, but that's been around forever. Think about it. We've been building cars in Detroit with machines.
You got robots in your house?
All over
washing
the place.
machine?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, are you hand washing clothes anymore?
No. Thermostat, air conditioning.
Yeah.
That's all AI to some form. Calculators, AI, computers, AI.
Hey, it's not all doom and gloom. There's going to be a lot of great things that happen because of this technology.
Well, if you stay on the front of the front of this
Yeah.
thing, especially if you're young,
Mm-hmm.
man, you should be stoked to know that you've got help, that you could sit in the basement and create $1 billion or $1 trillion business. That ought to be exciting to young people. It's exciting to me as an old person.
Right.
And I don't need to be a one-person show in a basement. I'd rather do it with 10 or 12 people. And part of my prompts are how does a small group maximize what the
So here's my prediction, and it's not going to be a software. It's not going to be a software as a service, but I see these devices we have here. These are going to be a thing in the past real soon.
what are we going to replace them with?
I don't know.
You got to replace it with something.
Something that works with the AI that's available.
Are we talking about virtual reality goggles or something? Because something has to be.
The goggles we know were a flop.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Did you ever try them on?
No.
Completely throws off your equilibrium in your own nervous system. So I think if people are just like, we're not going to.
Got to have something though, David. Now, will that be altered and changed? 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
slicker, faster. Because you know what, David? I've owned a computer.
Yeah, this right here, right?
I've owned a computer since about 1983. The TRS-80 cost thousands of dollars when you bought the whole package. I own computers now, but I don't use computers now. I use a phone.
Yeah.
I don't actually sit at a computer ever. I know I need to start. I need probably to buy a new one to do some of the stuff we do. But I don't actually own a computer. That was always something you replaced every 2 or 3 years. You guys got me. You and my son got me on these, and I haven't turned back since 19. Now think about that. Something that I've used for 40 years, I no longer use it.
Yeah.
Of course, I used to use the dial phone with the cord hanging on the wall.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. I have no educational background to back this idea, but it's a wearable device, something maybe necklace wise. Yeah. You can open up certain things you need to work on. Yeah. Close it or
your wrist, which they're already here. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think the pioneers don't want to replicate this kind of stuff. Yeah. I think because if you're wondering about what I'm talking about, go online and check out Sam Altman and Johnny Love. What's his name? Is that his name?
Something like that.
Well, they're working on this, and they talk about how this is gonna go bye.
It's Johnny Love, isn't it?
Is it Johnny Love? Yeah. This is how it's gonna go bye, and pay attention, guys. But have fun using it. Be on the front end of it, and
hey, and all you forward thinkers, let's move to Oro Valley, Marana, and create some really cool jobs and change the world. How about that?
Yeah.
Move.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Shay.
Thanks, Shay.